Lord, what's the message?
Jesus died on that cross so we could live, and this is not living.
Amen.
Well, when we had President Biden, he didn't do nothing for us. Everything went up. It was war. He never did anything for us.
What did President Trump do for you?
Oh, President Trump stopped the war. He helped the people. He did.
What war did he stop?
Huh?
What war did he stop?
Oh, he give us money, help the people. He helped everybody. He did a lot for the community, a lot for the world, a lot for everybody.
Right, welcome back again. Me and you will agree that black people's resilience and black people's adaptability is something that really makes people draw their attention towards the black people. Because black people don't complain, black people don't cry, black people look like they are not suffering, black people look like they're just okay, regardless of whatever the things that are going on in their midst, you see? And people be asking themselves, why is it happening this way? Does it mean they're the chosen people or they're very special? They're not very much special, although they are special because when you look at the history and go back to the history, you're going to realize black people are very special kind of people. And those who understand, even whites, they will admit and tell you blacks are somehow very special people. Now, as crises are going on in the United States of America, black people's resilience and black people's adaptability is really outstanding. And it's coming out to be one of the best adaptability and resilience that even the white people themselves, they admire. They want to have it. They want to be like it, and all of that. But now, let's have a conversation. Are whites going to fall now and decide to listen to what blacks have always been saying for years? Or they're going to keep quiet and assume as if nothing is really happening? Black people didn't know what they were doing, or they knew what they were doing when they were asking the white people not to make decisions that will, at the end of the day, frustrate them, or at the end of the day, they will regret about. But the white people, because of the level of arrogance and pride, they decided, we won't listen to these people because these people have nothing to say before us. They have nothing to say over us. And therefore, what is happening right now in the United States of America, white Americans are crying day and night. Don't know what to do, don't know where to go, and Trump doesn't care. Take a look at this video. I will come back and say more at the end of it. This is a black empire.
If someone you know or you depend on food stamps, pay close attention. Major changes are coming under Trump's big, beautiful bill. Let me break down what's changing, when it starts, and how it could affect your SNAP benefits. Now, here's the timeline. October 1st, 2026, state will begin tightening SNAP eligibility. That means stricter income checks, faster recertification, and more documentation just to stay qualified. Now, on December 31st, 2026, the new work rule begins. If you're 19 or 64 and don't have a documented disability, you will need to work, volunteer, or be in some type of job training at least 80 hours per month to keep your benefits. This applies to parents of school-aged children. Unless you have a baby or a toddler at home or some type of medical exemption, you will be expected to meet those work requirements too. Now, October 1st, 2027, states that make too many mistakes managing the SNAP program will face financial penalties. For example, New York had one of the highest error rates in 2023. Under the new law, they could be forced to repay up to 15% of program costs, which could result in title enforcement for everyone. This isn't to scare you, it's to prepare you. If you're able-bodied, now is the time to plan ahead. These changes are real, they are coming. Stay tuned, like, follow, share for the next updates.
You know what, President Trump, this is for you, man. Look, I know you've got a lot on your plate. I know you have a lot to do and a lot to keep this country safe, and I appreciate that. But you made us a campaign promise, and I remember you said it at every stop. I'm going to fix the economy and get prices more affordable. You ain't done none of that. Not even a little bit. Stores are price gouging us on tariffs. Stuff that they're putting on tariffs on. And guess what? They're made here in America. You call it, like your agencies call it out, but nothing gets done. The stores aren't made to put the prices back. They're not made to fix anything. No, instead, what are they doing? Still charging us the same prices. In fact, they're raising prices even higher. And your administration is doing nothing to help that. Nothing. Not a thing. You have done absolutely nothing to help that. And I'm sorry, but, we're struggling. You're erasing the middle class. You know, you said, oh, the left, they're all about erasing the middle class. No, you are too, because you're doing the same exact thing. You're not doing anything to help us. I know you got a lot on your plate, but man, just take a day or 2 days and do something to turn around the economy in this country. People are struggling. People are losing their homes because they can't afford. They have to choose between making a car payment or putting food on their table. People are having to choose between paying their credit cards down or putting food on the table. Or they're having to max out their credit cards to pay bills because everything is so daggum expensive. Gas should be going down. We're drilling in America. Why is gas still over $2.89 a gallon? Why is things so damn expensive under you this time, but last time is so much cheaper? I know the Biden administration screwed up the economy and made inflation just skyrocket. But there are things that you can do to fix it, and you need to do it.
A lot of MAGA voters have been crying out saying, this isn't what we voted for. And honestly, it's wide to watch. These are the same folks who were rocking those red hats, screaming, "Make America Great Again," and swearing Trump was the man who will fix the economy, bring back jobs, and make life easier. Now, they are realizing their dream they were sold isn't matching the reality they are living. Back in 2016, and again after, Trump came in promising to drain the swamp, protect the working class, and make America rich again. A lot of people, especially small business owners, factory workers, and middle class folks, really believe that. They thought he was gonna, fight for them, lower cost, and put America first. Fast forward to now, and those same people are watching their grocery bills skyrocket, rent shoot up, and their town struggling. And suddenly, that red hat, pride, turned into regret. Hey guys, welcome back again to the channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I'm going to let some of the clips I gathered for you guys to roll. Then I'll come back with the commentary. Please do well to like and subscribe. Credit to all creators on this video. Let's go watch.
So y'all, I live in Florida and I voted for Trump, and like honestly I never even thought about it. Like everybody I know voted for Trump, and like I never thought about it, but I saw an interview with that astronaut on Fox News today.
It's so funny to watch all of the MAGA personalities online either crying or just remaining silent over the beef between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Like for example, Charlie Kirk has been silent over it. His last tweet was saying there's going to be a lot of fighting in the next couple of days, but that he's incredibly grateful for Elon Musk, but no word on the beef between Trump and Musk. Gunther Eagleman, one of the worst MAGA supporters out there, just put out a statement saying, "What's happening? He can't fathom that his two idols are going at it." Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro is just pretending like it's not happening. His last tweet was about the show today where he has a major announcement talking about Republicans, Democrats, asylum, yada, yada, yada. He's not talking about it. So all of these different MAGA personalities who seem like they have an opinion on absolutely everything are now suddenly quiet. They don't want to chime in here. I gotta be honest, I'm really enjoying watching the MAGA civil war take place right before our very eyes, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down.
Y'all, a MAGA supporter's husband was deported, and now she's on the internet asking us for donations to help her. Okay, her Cuban husband was deported to Mexico. Yes, you heard that right. Her Cuban husband was deported to Mexico. So basically, because of the relationship that the United States has with Cuba, or the lack thereof, they cannot deport people to Cuba. So they've instead been dropping them off in Mexico, and I guess they gotta find out how to get home. I really don't know the process. I don't care to look into it because I don't care. And yeah, so now she's asking for donations because she's trying to get her husband to Cancun or something. I don't know where they dropped him off at. She doesn't know where he's at. He don't have no money. I really don't know. I don't feel bad for her. I don't feel bad for her because you voted for a man who said he was going to do mass deportation. He said that during his campaign. And I also don't feel bad because I just know that Cuban husband, although he was undocumented, he probably could not vote. He was in support of Donald Trump. He was advocating for Donald Trump. He was canvassing for him. They both were supporters of Donald Trump. A lot of Cubans, I live in Miami, love them some Daddy Trump. And they got what they asked for. Cubans are so funny because they just think that they are above the program. They think they are the exceptional Hispanics. They think because, their skin's a little lighter that people can't tell that they're Hispanic. So yeah, it's just so funny to me that, you got what you voted for and now you need people on TikTok to bail you out of what you voted for. Multiple videos, which tells me you ain't got the donations that you've been asking for.
And hell, we're human beings. Help us. Give us what we need. We don't want to be the stepchildren anymore.
I am MAGA.
I've said it before, but it's worth saying louder this time. Trump's most loyal supporters, America's farmers, are getting stabbed in the back in broad daylight. And the latest insult isn't just a paper cut, it's a gut punch. While U.S. farmers are drowning in mountains of unsold soybeans, Trump is opening the floodgates for Argentina to dump cheap exports into the very markets American growers just lost. Call it poetic justice, call it FAFO, but the betrayal couldn't be clearer.
Argentina and Brazil, down in South America, they're our biggest competitor in soybeans and corn. Sometimes they raise 2 or 3 crops of corn. They always raise a big soybean crop. But Argentina is a huge competitor for the United States. We just sent them $20 billion. All the while, they're sending tax-free China 84 million bushels of soybeans. That's 30 cargo ships worth in 2 days' time.
We are being forced to bail out another country's farmers at the expense of our own.
That don't make much sense. That's kind of like wiping before you poop. Why would you help out your biggest competition and hurt yourself with your biggest customer?
I have been an Arkansas soybean farmer my entire life until this year, when a deepening farm crisis forced my family to close a 150-year-old operation, and we weren't alone. And now this is coming for even more of us.
It's going to be tough to get some of that business back that we're losing. Retaliatory tariffs has caused us to be less competitive in the global marketplace.
I thought you guys didn't want the United States to give money to Ukraine because that's not our war. You guys were okay with the U.S. giving money to Israel so that they can commit it. But what's going on now? Do we have to bail out Argentina, a country that has absolutely nothing to do with us? Is Donald Trump putting America first when he's gonna give up to $20 billion to Argentina? Donald Trump is defunding programs that Americans need, but there is money to send to Argentina? Did I get that right? Is that America first? I'm a little confused.
Soybeans may not sound glamorous, but they're the beating heart of U.S. agriculture. Nearly $25 billion in exports last year, with China alone buying over half, about $12.6 billion. That cash flow is what keeps the heartland alive, from Illinois silos to Iowa fields to Nebraska's small towns. And then came Trump's trade war tantrums. Overnight, America's largest customer, China, didn't just cut back, didn't just slow down. They slammed the door shut.
Well, folks, there's a storm brewing in soybeans. China just bought a big batch from Argentina, not from the USA. And let me tell you, tariffs we slapped on years ago and during this new administration are the reason why. Here's what happened, according to Reuters. Argentina suspended export taxes, making their soybeans cheaper on the international market. And China swooped in and booked at least 10 cargoes, each around 65,000 tons. Meanwhile, not a single cargo from the brand new American harvest. We got cut out of the deal completely. Now, this isn't just about Argentina dropping taxes. This story starts years ago and continues through this new Trump administration with the U.S.-China trade war. When America slapped tariffs on Chinese goods, Beijing hit back with retaliatory tariffs on U.S. soybeans. This made our beans more expensive for Chinese buyers. Now, here's the thing. Once China got burned, they learned not to rely so heavily on American soy. They started building long-term supply from South America, Brazil first, and now Argentina. So every time tariffs went up, U.S. farmers paid the price, not the folks in Washington, D.C. We lost trust and we lost market share. So now, with Argentina's beans cheaper, China doesn't even look at us. That means less demand for American soybeans. Less demand means lower prices. For farmers already fighting high fuel and fertilizer costs, this isn't just a headache, it's the difference between profit and loss. And this isn't a one-off. If China keeps buying from Argentina, it cements a pattern. America gets sidelined while South America gets stronger. And markets don't forgive lost trust. Once a buyer moves on, they don't always come back. That's the real danger of these tariffs wars. You win the headline fight, but you lose the customer forever. Tariffs sound tough in D.C., but out here where we raise these crops, they land like a hammer, Farmers didn't pick the trade fight with China, but they've been paying for it every harvest. We produce the best beans in the world, but when tariffs make our crop more expensive, China shops elsewhere. And now Argentina, with this tax break, slips right in. So what's the fix? We need smarter trade deals, not headline tariff wars. We need long-term partnerships with buyers, not quick political stunts. And we need to keep American farmers competitive by making sure we're not priced out with our own policies. Folks, these tariffs were sold as tough talk, but in the end, they opened the door for Argentina and Brazil to take our markets. And that's bad news for every American. If you care about keeping American farms alive, if you care about protecting the U.S. food supply and keeping food inexpensive for Americans, share this video with your neighbors and tell them these trade wars are costing us. And it's not just the farmers in rural America that are paying the price. Pretty soon, it's going to be all of us.
Meanwhile, American farmers stare at silos bursting with unsold beans and prices that have collapsed to 5-year lows. If Trump were trying to bankrupt Illinois farmers on purpose, what would he be doing differently? And here's where the FAFO energy really kicks in. These are the same farmers who cheered when Trump promised to deport immigrant workers and slap tariffs on foreign goods. Now, their fields are empty of labor, their markets are gone, and their bills are piling up. It's like watching someone set their own barn on fire because the arsonist told them it would keep them warm. Spoiler, it didn't. The fallout isn't abstract. American Soybean Association President Caleb Ragland called the situation overwhelming. Harvest is underway, prices are falling, and instead of seeing headlines about trade deals, farmers are reading about Trump pumping billions into Argentina while their own product rots.
Hey, MAGA, you remember all that winning you were supposed to do under Donald Trump? And now with all the tariffs and his crappy economic policies, you guys are losing your health care, losing your Social Security, losing your benefits, losing your jobs. Well, now you're losing your farms. And the people in Arkansas can tell you, they can't even break even, and most of them are going out of business. They're not being farmers anymore. But instead of a bailout, Trump is like, oh, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Because he and J.D. Vance actually have stock in companies that are buying up that lost farmland when farmers go broke. But you know how you guys always love to claim that Trump loves the farmers and he loves you guys so much, even though in public at rallies he has literally stated to your face that he doesn't care about you? Well, let me tell you something. The biggest crop that we export is soybeans. And now that China's not really buying our soybeans anymore because Trump jacked up tariffs on them, China's now buying them from Argentina, who has since dropped their tariffs on them. So now farmers across the country are being left holding the bag of soybeans that are practically worthless. This is going to have another massive effect on our GDP, by the way. And as all these farmers continue to go bankrupt because of these tariffs that you guys think are going to make you all millionaires, China just found a way to go around us and give us the middle finger. And apparently MAGA stands for Make Argentina Great Again. Meanwhile, our economy's going down the toilet. And you guys have a massive problem with conservatives attacking and shooting your own conservatives. Let me know when you guys are done with the charade and the whole cult because this is really fucking embarrassing.
Donald Trump was quoted saying it is an honor for him to help make Argentina great again. Let's talk about a few things that $20 billion could do for United States citizens. It could cover healthcare for 3.3 million American families. It could erase medical debt for over 20 million Americans. It could fund mental health and addiction clinics all across the United States for over a decade. It could build over 100,000 affordable housing units. It could provide emergency shelter for over a year for every single homeless American. It could fund community college for over 2.5 million students. It could cancel all federal loan student debt. It could increase the salary of every single teacher in the United States of America by $5,000 a year. It could provide $1,000 extra in grocery benefits for every single low-income family in the United States of America. It could fund health care and housing for over 1 million veterans. Or it could provide free daycare for 1.5 million families. So much for America First.
Even Republican Senator Chuck Grassley couldn't spin it, blasting the move with a blunt question. Why would USA help bail out Argentina while they take American soybean producers' biggest market? When Chuck Grassley, who once defended tweeting from a flip phone, is dragging Trump's trade policy, you know something's broken. And the cruelty here isn't just economic, it's cultural. For decades, soybean farmers were told they were America's backbone, the salt of the earth, the true patriots. Trump sold them that myth, then ripped it up the second it suited him.
Trump's illegal tariffs have single-handedly destroyed the U.S. soybean market. As of yesterday, the price of soybeans is about $9.34 here in Iowa. The cost of production is anywhere from $11 to $11.50. So per bushel of soybeans, it's about a $2 loss. And when you add the fact that it's about 50 bushels in an acre of soybeans here, you can do the math to see how bad things are.
He doesn't see farmers. He sees numbers on a balance sheet, pawns in a tariff war he can't win, and voters too loyal to notice he's selling them out in real time. The irony? Argentina and Brazil harvest their soybeans months before American farmers do. So by the time U.S. crops are ready, the Chinese market is already stocked. American farmers aren't just losing a season, they're losing a permanent customer base. Once you're replaced in a global supply chain, it's a game over. And yet, the betrayal goes deeper.
Historically, 60% of Iowa soybeans have gone to China. With Trump's trade wars from his first administration, the U.S. has become an unreliable supplier. So instead of these soybeans going to China, it's soybeans from South America, like places like Brazil and Argentina. That leads to more grains going to be left in the bin, which means to oversupply, which means to lower prices. So here's what we need to do. We need to demand trade, not aid. Farmers don't want a bailout, they want markets. The second thing we need to do is push for competition, both on the market side and especially on the input side with seed and fertilizer costs.
Here's the bitter truth. Soybeans made up nearly 20% of America's cash crop receipts last year. Without exports to China, that number craters. Futures markets are tanking, farmers are drowning in debt, and the so-called bailouts to U.S. farmers are nothing but band-aids on a gaping wound. Meanwhile, Argentina and Brazil are locking down long-term contracts with China that will keep American soybeans out of the game for years. So, let's call it what it is. Betrayal. Trump promised farmers prosperity. What he delivered was bankruptcy, broken supply chains, and foreign competition financed by American dollars. The heartland thought they were voting for a champion. What they got was a con man who bankrupted casinos, now bankrupting them.
So I posted this weekend about this incredible bailout that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced, where he's sending $20 billion down to Argentina because the chainsaw-wielding, leather jacket libertarian down there, Javier Milei, drove their economy into the ground by trying to do a Doge-like situation there. Now, Bessent is a former hedge fund guy. The bunch of hedge funders in the United States went long on Argentinian debt, like they thought, oh, this is going to work great. We're going to take a chainsaw to Argentina and the economy is going to recover. Instead, the economy nosedived. So now Bessent is bailing out these hedge fund guys. Now, who he also is bailing out is China, because Argentina was able to use the $20 billion we sent to cut prices for soybeans that they're selling to China. And China is trying not to buy them from us because Trump started a trade war with China. Now, so that's the backstory I told over the weekend. Today, you have an incredible photo taken by a photographer at the Treasury Department of the White House, snapping Scott Bessent's phone. On Scott Bessent's phone is a text message from Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins to Bessent and one other person. It looks like JG are the initials. I can't quite tell who the second person is. If anybody has any guesses, you can put them in the comments. But if it's difficult to read, here's what the text message to her says. She says, I'm getting more intel, but this is highly unfortunate. We bailed out Argentina yesterday, parentheses Bessent, and in return, the Argentines removed their export tariffs on grains, reducing their price, and sold a bunch of soybeans to China at a time when we would normally be selling to China. Soy prices dropping further because of it. This gives China more leverage on us. So there's Trump's agriculture secretary basically sounding like me.
And here's the part that should keep every farmer awake at night. This isn't just a temporary market hiccup. This is structural. Once China finds a cheaper, steadier partner like Argentina or Brazil, they don't just flip back when it's convenient for us. Trade relationships are like marriages. When the trust is broken, the partner who left doesn't usually come crawling back. They move on. And in this case, they're moving on with billions of dollars worth of contracts that should have gone to American farmers but are now securing long-term deals with our competitors. Trump didn't just fumble the bag, he gift-wrapped it and handed it to Buenos Aires and Sao Paulo. But it's not just about soybeans. It's about what soybeans represent. Agriculture is the one thing America has always done better than almost anyone else. The vast land, the technology, the know-how. This was our ace card. When manufacturing jobs left, when coal mines closed, we could always point to the heartland and say, at least we feed the world. Now, even that claim is crumbling. Under Trump, the U.S. isn't the breadbasket of the world anymore. It's the guy at the poker table watching his chips slide over to the competition while pretending he's still winning.
North Dakota farmers are in a bit of a crisis right now, and it seems like people outside of the state are paying attention, so I think it's time that we talk about it. North Dakota soybeans naturally go to the elevator at harvest. Some are stored, but not many. However, this year, we have no sales to China. Zero. Zilch. Goose egg. And we rely a lot on P&W exports. Because we don't really have an export program, we don't have a good basis. Our typical basis around harvest is like 75 under. Right now we are between $1.15 and $1.50 under. And some places are just contract only, which means they won't take any soybeans that aren't contracted, and some of them won't take any new contracts either. That means that when we're harvesting soybeans, we're going to put them in a bin. Bins are typically used for corn. When we get into corn harvests, we don't got anywhere to go with it. You have to go to the elevator with it. It's going to put more pressure on the corn basis. It's going to put more pressure on the ethanol basis. And we're just going to have ground piles, bags. It's not fun. If you don't have a logistics plan, you're kind of SOL. The problem's real. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be solved with a government payment.
American soybean farmers, let's have a chat. One farm family to another. Are you aware that Trump is planning to send $20 billion to Argentina to bail them out? All because his buddy is running for re-election. He wants to make sure he gets re-elected. He's bailing them out. Plus, Argentina just made a humongous deal with China and took your biggest soybean market. So now China, they don't need any American soybeans. They get everything they need from Argentina. Plus, Argentina is getting your tax dollars to bail them out. Trump doesn't plan to give you any bailout. He said maybe when the tariffs start paying off, that he'd give you a little something, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that one because we've all figured out by now, right? That's a tax on the consumer. And that's what's killing your farm.
And if you think this is just about dollars and cents, look at the ripple effect. Small-town banks depend on farm loans being repaid. Equipment dealers depend on farmers upgrading their tractors and combines. Rural schools depend on property taxes tied to land values. When soybean prices tank, it's not just the farmer hurting, it's the entire ecosystem around them. Trump isn't just bankrupting individuals, he's hollowing out communities. The very same real America he claimed he was fighting for is being gutted in slow motion. Now, here's where it gets even uglier. While Trump's tariffs choke American farmers, his administration's bailout of Argentina wasn't just random generosity. It's geopolitics. And it's politics at home. Argentina gets cash, cuts export taxes, and suddenly looks like a reliable supplier for China. Meanwhile, Trump gets to brag about fighting socialism in South America and scoring a foreign policy win while his own farmers lose everything. It's the art of the deal, Trump style. Sell out your base, then blame someone else when the checks bounce. And the cruelty goes one step further. Remember how Trump loved to frame himself as the savior of forgotten Americans? Those forgotten Americans are now literally being erased from the market while their supposed champion is financing their rivals. It's one thing to get betrayed by your political enemy. It's another to get gutted by the man you cheered for at every rally, the one you put your hopes and your vote into. That's not just betrayal. That's humiliation. But here's the kicker that few people are talking about. Soybeans aren't just food. They're politics. They're energy. They're international leverage. Soybean oil goes into biodiesel. Soybean meal feeds livestock. And soybean futures are a key barometer for global commodity markets. When America loses control of soybeans, it loses more than farm income. It loses power. It hands over a strategic advantage to countries like Brazil and Argentina, who now get to set the terms of trade with China, the world's biggest buyer. Trump hasn't just betrayed farmers. He's weakened America's hand on the global stage. And don't forget the environmental twist. Part of the reason Argentina was able to flood the market so quickly is because Trump's bailout allowed them to suspend environmental costs, like that 26% export tax. In other words, while American farmers are playing by stricter rules, Argentina gets to cut corners, pollute more, and sell cheaper, with our own government's blessing. Here's where the regret kicks in. You can hear it in farm country if you listen closely. Farmers who once plastered Trump signs on their barns are now whispering doubts at the co-op. They won't say it loud, not yet, because pride is a hell of a drug. But when your harvest rots and your bank account bleeds, even the most loyal MAGA diehard starts asking the forbidden question, did we get played? And maybe that's the cruelest layer of all. Because Trump's betrayal isn't just financial, it's emotional. He sold farmers the dream of respect, of finally being seen and valued. And now, they're watching him hand their future to Argentina and Brazil, laughing all the way to the bank. It's the kind of betrayal that cuts deeper than a balance sheet. It cuts into identity, into pride, into what it means to be the backbone of America. So, what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Trump's hold on farm country, or will the heartland keep letting him bankrupt them with a smile?
Right, welcome back again. It's gonna be a lesson, and they say that the experience is the best teacher. When I tell you something and you don't listen to me, sometimes I would tend to keep quiet and not do anything about it and just look at you and you're perishing. But if you don't perish, maybe next time you won't do the same mistake that you did before. Now, people be asking themselves, why is it that the blacks are able to see far? Why is it that the black people are able to foretell the future? They are able to actually read the situations and bring the outcome even before the outcome itself comes, or bring the results or speak the results even before the results come out. And I came to realize one thing. Black people, because they went through tough times, they went through a lot of things, they went through problems, they went through suffering, they went through difficulties. And when they were going through all these things, all these problems, all these difficulties, they were going through all these things simply when they were going through all these things, they were learning how to come out of it. They were learning how to go about issues. They were learning how to solve problems. They were learning how to survive during difficult moments, during difficult times. They were learning how to be better people during difficult times. And you know, even the parents that were existing that time, they used to teach their children, this is how you're supposed to live. This is how you're supposed to do things. This is how it's supposed to go and all that. And so black people have found an opportunity of actually, going through difficult moments. And these difficult moments, instead of breaking them down, it hardened them. It made them who they are. It made them special. It gave them strength. You know, these difficult moments opened their eyes. It gave them ideas, opportunities. And, you know, they knew how to do a lot of things, how to survive, how to maneuver during difficult times and all that. On the other hand, the white communities, they had the privilege, what we call the white privilege, where the white community were meant to think they are the best. So even when they would see the black community crying, or maybe running up and down and you know, complaining and all that, what would come into their minds was that these people are lazy, these people I don't know what, these people I don't know what. But the truth of the matter, black people, okay, black people knew what they were doing, you see, but the system made the white people to think blacks are very lazy, they're very bad kind of people and all that, because the white people are not actually anywhere near the black people. Okay? Now, so when blacks were complaining, carrying placards, going on the road, demonstrating, making noise, you know what was happening? What was happening? The white people were sitting somewhere, calling them uncivilized people, calling them criminals, calling them, you know, terrorists and all that. But the truth of the matter, blacks, and they were only fighting for what belongs to them. They were only fighting for what they wanted, for their rights and all that. But you see, They were always brushed off, even after crying, going on the road, demonstrating, picketing, and all that. They were being brushed off every other moment. You see? And they said, okay, it is fine. So blacks decided to find ways in which they can be able to maneuver in difficult and different situations, in many, many problems. They tried to find a way they can be able to maneuver, they can be able to survive and all that. You see? So they became these situations and problems became normal to them. They took it as a normal thing. And when they took it as a normal thing, they started, finding ways on how they can be able to survive on these things. That when the life is difficult, we can be able to do this and this and this, and it will still save ourselves. When we cannot afford food, when we cannot afford habitat, when we cannot afford all these things, we can be able, to come together and do it, tackle it in this way or in that way. So they knew, they had skills, they were taught skills. That is why what is happening right now in America, it can only affect the white community, because the blacks' adaptability and the blacks' resilience cannot allow them to even cry for a single day or to even complain. Why? They're used to it. They are already stronger than how the white community are. And that is why whites should be asking themselves, why are blacks not complaining? Why are blacks not crying? It is because of the resilience and because of the black adaptability. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I will do my best to make sure I read all the comments and give a response where possible. If you're watching me for the first time, kindly don't forget to subscribe. For the returning subscribers, I really do appreciate you.